Well, welcome to Friday, November 12th. Just because it's Friday, and apparently it's a busy day, good old NCAA. I'm glad you guys are playing. I mean, college basketball is fun, but you decided to throw how many games at me today? 74 mother effing games on a Friday. I, of course, have other things I'd rather be doing than predicting all the winners of all the college basketball games today. But you know what? We said we were going to do this. People have paid me. You want your information. So here you go, everybody. This is what's probably going to happen when it comes to college basketball today. Done a ton of work on this. Don't have time to explain it. But we will do the whole thing that everybody likes. What's the bet, Ken? What's your big bet? What are you throwing all your money down on, man? All right, well, the answer is I will bet $50 today on college basketball. And I'll bet $50 today on hockey. That's my budget. And we'll do a hockey video later today. I haven't even looked at it yet. But college basketball, there's so many games that I cannot help but go over it and find value picks. So what do you do with this massive, colorful, ridiculous strip of nonsense? How do you digest anything that you're seeing in front of you? Well, if you have Microsoft Excel and you download the file that's in the description, you will get this file. And it will probably be this exact file unless there are some changes made to it and I update it. But this is going to give you a list of the most skewed matchups top down. Like Baylor is supposed to not only win the national championship, I think, like they did last year, but they're supposed to really basically, give me like a violent religious word to describe what they're going to do to Incarnate Word. They're supposed to beat them 100-51 according to our cracked out projections that do not have a lot of meaning right now, but are kind of fun to look at because there's just a mess of stats that I can't even get into. So point is, well, that's great, except that Baylor is minus 3,500, which means if you bet $3,500, the person you wager with will give you essentially, they'll be like, no, don't even give me that money. Here's $100 because that's what you just won. I would have taken the 3,500 if Incarnate Word had summoned the demons of whatever to beat Baylor, but in general you don't win any money, so it's kind of a waste of time and a big risk if you accidentally lose. So is there anything good on here? How do you browse through a massive list of 74 games? Well, first of all, we have what are called neutral site projections as the setting right now. That means that down at the bottom, you're going to get a lot of away teams that it thinks are actually better teams than their opponent. Like it thinks Fordham's better than Manhattan. The problem is they're playing in Manhattan, and for some reason, home sometimes matters. It didn't matter yesterday, but I bet you it will matter. It usually does. I always say let's call it 5%. Just give it a little bump. Give it a little bump. Not a lot, but a little, and then that'll help us look at the list a little better down at the bottom. First thing I said to do, look at underdogs. So underdogs, and also look at home underdogs. Home underdogs are a pot of gold if the algorithm says that they are on the left side of this list. Meaning, here's a home team that we think's supposed to win anyway, and they're an underdog. What? And the answer is yeah. Minnesota, Columbia, and Southern Mississippi are all underdogs. We think they win all these. Now, here's something weird. Columbia and Marist's 33-30 projected score. That's because of like light standings last year, probably. Like not a complete season. See, somebody didn't play. So Columbia did not play last year, so don't trust the projected score at all because it doesn't make any sense. But but the stats might. Okay. Well, you know what? That's actually a good reason not to take Columbia. Sorry. Okay, so this is why it's important to read everything that's going on here. So what this is saying is what contributed to the projections of this game involved no season for Columbia last year. Now let's double check that because we're still using last year's standings. Obviously, it's like super early in the season. Yeah, the Ivy League did not play last year, so you can't trust anything from this on this game. As a matter of fact, we should remove all the Ivy League teams until we update the stats. So don't take Columbia, but do take Minnesota and do take Southern Mississippi against Louisiana really well. Or you can take them plus the points at plus 2.5 here. That's actually a better pick for Southern Miss. All right, so let's start building our NCAA round robin bet for the day. This is actually going to be at minus 110 because we're going to take it plus 2.5 because we're doing a round robin. We're going to take, the other one we're going to take is Minnesota at plus 135 at home against Western Kentucky. Okay. We're going to figure out what we're going to do with this $50, right? So those are our home underdogs. Well, what about all of our underdogs? And the answer is at a 5% bump, you still see a margin bigger than 20% hanging out here. Yeah, I know it's an away team, and I know you don't like to have money on away teams, but an away team plus some points on a round robin when they're supposed to win this much more. They played full seasons last year essentially. So VMI plus 2.5 is a pick. Okay. All right, we're just assuming some lines, but we're doing the best we can here. UNC Greensboro, Northern Kentucky, 19% margin. I mean, so here's what I'm saying. At a 20% bump, which is about as high as the bump should go, this team still wins. You get them plus 6.5? Oh, yeah, absolutely. NC Greensboro plus 6.5. Right. So this is a nice, really nice plus 6.5 there. I expect to win that bet. That's a lot of points for a game that's still up there. Now, of course, not everything's perfect. We're still doing a lot of speculating this year. So what else do we have? All right, so now we open up all underdogs, all games. Another thing that we need to look for to try to find value is when the money line is green here and the game is up near the top of the list. When does that happen at the first time? The answer is there's 440 still not good. 322.25 East Carolina at home against Canisius. We're starting getting into 200s, but that's still not a good line. So let's keep going. But if you start doing really, really big parlays, these type games are reasonable payouts for big, big parlays. South Carolina, Princeton. Here we have Pepperdine, which already lost once this season for us, at home against Idaho State. But this time they're at home. They don't think they were at home last time. Okay, that's good. I'll bet on Pepperdine and lose again. That's fun. Let's do that. So that starts to be a reasonable line, and it's kind of high up on that list. It's like the 42nd pick or something of the day of 70-something games, and it's got a reasonable line. Okay, Minnesota we already dealt with. College of Charleston already won a game, I believe, pretty heavily this year. I don't have current standings in here, but that sounds okay at minus 194. It's not a great line. Right? You could do Lafayette at Cornell, minus 125, but their power strength is low. You should look at this power of this team. That's what this is. And if the team has a really low power, like look at how low, 12%, 5% even worse for Lafayette. So it makes me think that College of Charleston is an okay pick. Let's keep looking. Southern Miss. Did we take Southern Miss? Yeah, we did. We took them plus points. Yeah, plus 2.5. And start to get into these away teams where you start to run into trouble. But we're at a 20% bump right now. And we still have... okay, so these home teams that pop up here, if any of those are underdogs, let's look at that. If any of those home teams are underdogs, we already got them. Yeah, I mean... I'm reaching for stuff down here because anything at a margin below 20% when you have a home bump of 20% is something you don't want to take. That means everything here and below, you got to have really good lines or points to want to take that. And here and above, these teams are still supposed to win the game outright. So did we miss anything here that was bettable? BYU at home against San Diego State. Oh, yeah, they're a strong team. That kind of sounds like a win, doesn't it? At only minus 150. That's above 20% margin. So they get bumped up to, they were a really close favorite at home, but with the home bump, they really get bumped up. I totally believe that BYU wins at home because of that. So that's okay. Then, is there anything else? This Lafayette, because they're a weak team, I say no. College of Charleston, I think, is takeable here, but if it's minus 194 and it's not worthy of that. So I'm going to let that go. And that's one of, I mean, this is a very exciting pick. Watch what you can do with wagers here. So if you have $50 and you've got these 6 games, if you want to do something like this, yep, look at this. If you hit all 6 of these games, you make almost $1,000. And that's because I just did an 8 here. What if you do this? In case you don't hit every one of them. You got to bring this down to a 1. Hold on a second. Doesn't drastically cut it as much as I thought. And you're going to hit 4 here. I don't know. Yeah, there are a lot of interesting ways to do this. But here you're still looking at a 17-1 payout if you can catch all 6. And I won't start predicting who's going to lose because I think it's bad luck. But just know that you've in this scenario, if you hit 4 of these games, then you're going to get probably like half your money back winning one of these parlays. If you hit 5 of these games, you are going to win money for sure. And if you hit 6 of these games, you're going to win a lot of money. So that's what I would do is Southern Miss +2, Minnesota to... Oh, wait a minute. Should we take Minnesota plus the points? Hold on. We probably should. You probably should do that. Hold on a second. Sorry, we got to be perfectionists. Minnesota. Oh, you can't get a spread on Minnesota. How weird. So that's why we didn't have the points. Interesting. That's a weird thing there. Because technically you'd want to take them with the points. You have a better chance of winning it matters a lot if you win the game or don't win the game. So you don't fight for the extra line of the plus 135 instead of minus 110 if you can get like 2.5, 3.5 points. So it's just good to know. All right. Well, good luck everyone for college basketball. As you can see, I spent way too much time on this. But it is very, very interesting. And at a 0% bump, you should really glance at this and see if everything we did still makes sense. We took Columbia? Did we? No, we didn't take Columbia. I was smart enough not to take Columbia. Okay. Good. All right. Whatever. Good luck, everyone. May all your picks be winning.